Information on cleaning supplies and avoiding poisoning situations. You should keep all surfaces and equipment clean. You should wash the counter with a disinfectant before you begin to cook, and make sure you clean as you go to keep the area clean and make cleanup much easier. These ones are just common ideas, but you need to be careful to prevent poisoning and contamination by cleaning supplies. Cleaning supplies are usually chemical-based, so you need to keep all cleaning supplies or chemicals away from food. You do not want them to mix. Store them in a different place than you store your food. A common place is under the sink. Make sure you keep your cleaning supplies in their original containers. And make sure that the label with their contents, what they're there for, how to use them, and some first aid safety tips are still there. If I have a blank squirt bottle with an unknown cleaning supply in it, I could accidentally mix it or use it in a scenario that would be dangerous. The safest rule as far as cleaning supplies and mixing them is do not mix cleaning supplies. You do not know what chemical reactions are going to occur. For example, ammonia and bleach produce a deadly toxic gas. One that is not visible, you can't smell it, it's there, you breathe it, and you could die. If you happen to be cleaning a bathroom, for example, ammonia is commonly found in Windex or window cleaner. You could be cleaning the mirror, and then maybe you're using bleach on the counter. Make sure it's a well-ventilated area, lots of airflow so that the gas can't build up, and maybe separate it. Clean the mirror, and then go clean something else, somewhere else for a half hour, and then come back and clean the counter with the bleach. Be careful of the toxic gases. Some kitchen sanitation that will prevent food poisoning and other sickness includes number 1, sanitation rule. Always wash your hands for a minimum of 20 seconds with hot soapy water. You're going to wash your hands before you start cooking, several times during the cooking process, especially after cooking, especially with handling raw meat. Cross-contamination is improper cleaning and sanitation when preparing and cooking foods. For example, raw meat has bacteria on it. It does. That's why we cook it, to kill the bacteria. If bacteria from that raw meat, through improper cleaning or sanitation, travels to other foods that are not going to be cooked and killed to kill the bacteria, then you have cross-contamination because that food that's not going to get cooked has been contaminated with the bacteria. You're going to eat it, and it could cause you to get sick. While we're on washing your hands, please, 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 make sure you wash your hands every single time after you go to the bathroom. There are many, many, many bacteria and other sicknesses that can occur through human waste. Make sure you wash your hands after you go to the bathroom, every time. Wear gloves when you cook if you happen to have a cut or open sore in your hands. It'll prevent any bacteria from going from the food into you directly through the break in the skin barrier. Please make sure you pull back or cover your hair. Your hair has a tendency to fall out, and then it gets in food. If you've ever eaten food and suddenly had hair in your mouth, it's the most annoying, disgusting feeling ever, right? Additionally, your hair goes everywhere with you. Any germs that float through the air probably get caught in your hair. If you have to touch your hair to brush it out of your face, you suddenly got any of those germs from your hair on your hands. So pull it back so that it won't be in your face and you won't touch it. And if you ever do touch your face or your hair, wash your hands before you go back to the cooking. As far as cutting boards go, plastic cutting boards are safer, especially if you're doing raw meat, because then the juices with all the bacteria aren't going to soak down into the plastic cutting board. Wood ones, they do, and the bacteria can live on the wood a little bit. It also retains moisture. When tasting foods, if you're taste testing, use a clean spoon every time. The mouth has a high tendency to have bacteria in it, and when you swallow, it goes down into your belly where your stomach acid takes care of it. But if you're using the same spoon to taste test, any bacteria from your mouth can get into the food, and then it can grow and populate there and infect other people. We need to keep foods out of the temperature danger zone. That's what we call the dangerous zone of between 40 degrees and 140 degrees Fahrenheit. In this zone is where bacteria goes, oh, this feels nice. I'm just going to multiply and grow and have a party. And it grows and it grows and it grows until it gets to the dangerous level that your body can't handle it. So you need to keep food out of that temperature danger zone. Generally speaking, food should be stored within 2 hours of having cooked it or pulling it out of the refrigerator. That way it doesn't get into the temperature danger zone and stay there long enough for bacteria to grow to harmful levels. If it's a hot summer day and you're out at a barbecue though, there is a part of the temperature danger zone that is like an extreme danger zone. That's when the bacteria really goes, it's party time, and grows extra fast. Hot summer days are part of that. In that case, you should store food within 1 hour instead of 2, so that it doesn't have the time to grow. General rule of thumb and an easy thing to remember, keep hot foods hot and cold foods cold. When in doubt, throw it out. You want to keep foods hotter than the temperature danger zone or colder than the temperature danger zone. But whenever in doubt, you should throw food out so you do not get sick. When you are cooking foods that need to reach specific temperatures, always check the internal temperature with the food thermometer. For example, ground meat, such as ground beef, needs to be cooked to an internal temperature of at least 160 degrees. Because bacteria is on the outside of meat, and when we grind meat, we cut it all up and mix it all around. That means bacteria is through the entire ground meat. It needs to be at a higher temperature. There's different temperatures for poultry and fish. If you're cooking with those, you should look them up and make sure that you've got it to the right temperature. The best way to thaw frozen food so that coming from frozen, it doesn't get into the temperature danger zone and stay there for too long. The number one best way is actually in the refrigerator for 2 to 3 days. Maybe I have friends coming over and I promised that I was going to make this awesome steak recipe that I know, and I've got frozen steak in the freezer. 2 to 3 days before they come, I'm going to take that frozen steak from the freezer, I'm going to put it in the refrigerator, and I'm going to let it slowly come from frozen to refrigerator temperature during the course of those 2 to 3 days. Maybe I forgot. In the morning of, they're coming in the next 6 hours or something. I can, under cold running water in the sink, use that to bring the frozen food up to a safe temperature. It has to be running water because the water itself can rise to the room temperature, and then the outside of your frozen steak will get to room temperature, which is about 70 degrees, right in the middle of the temperature danger zone. You could put it in a bowl of cold water and change the water very frequently to prevent that if you don't want to leave the water running, but it can run very slowly. Maybe, just maybe, I totally forgot my friends were coming, and one of them called and said, hey, we're headed your way, we'll be there in an hour. I'm going to maybe put that steak in the microwave, and in the microwave I can thaw it if I'm going to use the meat immediately. Because microwaves shoot those waves around randomly. There are going to be parts of the meat that become completely cooked above the temperature danger zone, parts that are completely frozen still, and many, many parts that are right smack in the middle of the temperature danger zone. If I've used the microwave to thaw it, I can immediately cook it and things will be fine. If I then choose to leave it out on the counter for a few hours, it's growing in the temperature danger zone. 3 key things that increase bacteria growth: time, temperature, and moisture. Please make sure you write those 3. Given time, bacteria can grow to unsafe levels. If it's in the temperature danger zone, they will grow much faster then. And moisture. Bacteria needs moisture to live. If it's completely dry, it's not going to grow very fast. There are 4 steps that you can follow to prevent bacteria growth. Clean. Before, during, and after cooking, sanitize. Make sure that bacteria doesn't spread. Separate. Keep raw meats separate from other foods. Cook. Use thermometers to make sure the food is cooked enough. Make sure it gets hot enough to kill any bacteria. And chill. Store foods at the correct temperatures before and after cooking so as to not have it in the temperature danger zone to grow bacteria. Please watch this fun video clip on cross-contamination. Watch and see what he does or doesn't do that could cause cross-contamination.